Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Sacred Self-Worth interview series. I'm so glad to have you guys and to have Natalie Jill with us. And as you know, this whole series is about how we need to really love and accept ourselves in order to have healthy and successful lives. And Natalie's going to be talking to us about how honoring ourselves can really improve our health and our fitness and just different mindsets of how to really accept ourselves when we're going through a physical journey. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself and give a little background, Natalie, but even though I'm sure people know who you are.
Oh, thanks. So Natalie Jill, and I am a licensed master sports nutritionist. But what I do is I simplify fitness and nutrition for people to help navigate through all that information overload. So what I do is I specialize in fat loss, but it's not in a way of beating up our bodies and huge restricted diets and things based on subjective results and a place of deprivation. I really approach things from a place of simplifying, loving our bodies first, and working towards stronger versus skinny.
Awesome. Yeah, I really love that you have a huge component of your programs that's really about loving your weight, loving your body.
Yeah.
I know for me and a lot of the people that I work with, because I tend to work with eating disorders, there's a lot of shame and punishment, and working out really has this like negative kind of tone to it. And I hear so often people are like, I hate exercising. I don't want to do it. So before we kind of even get into how to really love the physical aspect, would you mind sharing a little bit about what self-worth means to you and how it comes into play for your work?
Sure. So I hear a lot from people, I hate my arms, or I hate my thighs, or I hate that I'm so fat. They come at it with this, I hate this about me. And when I talk to them about what their goal is, it goes to this extreme, I just want to be skinny. And what so many people don't realize is being skinny is very subjective. Like, what does that mean even? It's subjective, and it sets us up for failure because it's really not anything that's measurable or rewarding. So what I encourage people to do is, instead of working towards skinny, I encourage them to work towards stronger, because we can measure getting stronger and better every day at things, and it feels like a win. And we tend to respond and have lasting results in anything in our life when we have wins along the way versus things that we feel that we're failing at.
Yeah.
And when we're from a place of hating our bodies first, which I understand that that's the place that people go when they're not feeling good. When you come from a place of hating your body and then you put a subjective goal, you're setting yourself up for failure. And it's just it's a perpetual cycle of not having wins, and you find yourself looking for something new constantly to fix it.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you even start with people when they come at it from a negative kind of like, I hate this, I hate that? How do you flip that?
So it starts with changing their state. And if I say we have to change your state, they don't usually like that. So I'm usually not that in your face about, we've got to change your state. But what that means is we need to figure out your driving core motivator. And your driving core motivator is really your 10 level deep reason why you want to accomplish something. So it's not, I want to be in a size 6. It's not, I want to fix my arms. It's not, it can't be as general as that. It needs to be a core reason that when you feel it as a goal, you're inspired by it, and it doesn't feel like deprivation. It feels motivating. So a driving core motivator, for example, could be, I want to get my health back, so I have energy again. Or I want to have my confidence back so I can stop being in hiding and feel social. That's a driving core motivator. Or I want to beat this injury that I have, or I want to beat this disease that I have. A driving core motivator has to be something that really is bigger than an appearance-based goal.
Yeah.
And that driving core motivator, we started to shift our states, and then there's more things we can build on that. But that state portion is so much bigger and more important than the actual diet and workout aspect.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So what do you find to be a really positive state for people to be in? Is there one specific state that tends to be successful for transformation?
Sure. It's not one successful state, but it's being very clear on your driving core motivator. That's a commonality. It's just making a decision that you are ready to shift and have things work in the right direction. That decision plays a big role. Having conviction once you decide, and being committed to the process. But then even greater than that is even having a vision, being really clear on what that looks like when you get there. So, and I really tend to shy away from, or work to transition the thought process of, I just want to be skinny, or I just want, because that's just not a long-term answer. And I can't say it enough times, but it's so subjective. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
So it's what is your driving core motivator? Because to me, when someone comes at it with, I want to have energy, I want to have confidence again, I want to be healthy, that to me is a much more powerful driving core motivator that we can work with than just, I want to be skinny.
Yeah, definitely. And what if someone has never really experienced that? They've never felt energized. They've never had self-confidence. Like, this is a whole new concept for them, and it feels so far out of reach.
Totally. And I get that. And that is the thing that we get to fix first, because we tend to work towards feelings, right? So if you think I'm always depressed, I've always felt bad about myself, you're going to keep going back to that. And you're going to keep believing that everything you try is going to lead back to that. So it starts with creating a vision. And one of the simplest ways to do that is to literally grab a pile of magazines and just start peeling out and cutting out things that make you feel good. So I don't mean things that make you think you want to look a certain way, that make you feel bad. If it makes you feel bad, that's not what you want. It's what makes you feel good. Maybe it's a picture of a beach. Maybe it's a picture of a happy, smiling female running. Whatever it is that inspires that feeling, you want to look towards feelings. And you make a collage. It could be a vision board of what it is that you want to work towards feeling. So if you can't pull on a feeling yourself when you felt that way, then you can pull pictures that evoke that feeling, and you can start looking at that.
Yeah, I love
You've
that.
got to find some type of feeling to hold on to of what's possible first. And if you've got nothing in your past, which is very, very common, then pull out magazines. And most clients will tell me they find that emotional when they're doing it, because they didn't even know what they wanted. It's like they start pulling out these images and like, I didn't even realize the commonality was I just wanted to be happy. I just wanted to feel free. I just wanted to, whatever it is.
That's awesome. That's so great. Do you find that people tend to have kind of a spurt of energy of, I'm so excited, I'm doing this, and then it flatlines at some point?
If they're doing it just based on following a diet or a workout plan all the time, every time. That's when I hear things like, I don't have willpower, I lost my motivation. It's always that. But when you are really sure with your driving core motivator, your vision, your commitment, then that overpowers willpower and everything else, because you're committed to what it is that you want. It's the same reason somebody would recover from alcoholism, or somebody would recover or leave a bad marriage or decide to get married. It has to be that big of a driving core motivator and vision and then once that's there, that decision has been made and you can keep following it through.
That's awesome. And I think another component that you focus on is having other people going through this process along the way, so you're not alone. Can you speak a little bit to the importance of that?
So community is another big aspect. If you look at cultures, just historically, cultures with tight-knit communities tend to be happier, live longer, have less depression. If you look at tragedies that happen, like look at what happened during 9/11, suicide rates went down, depression went down, because people came together as a community. They were communicating with people. So when we are not feeling good about ourselves and we get depressed and we hate ourselves, what happens is we tend to start being an introvert. We start to be an introvert, we isolate, we're alone, and that just makes things worse. But when you actually communicate with somebody, even starting with just your therapist, you communicate with a therapist, or you communicate with a friend, or you communicate with a group of people, you start to think outside of yourself a bit, and your reason, your driving core motivator, your vision becomes a little bit bigger, and that community aspect helps you make a change. So with my programs, I encourage community. We have communities with those, because I think it's a big part of that transformation and that transition, is to have others that you can relate to and share with.
Awesome. So when someone gets really excited, they're like, I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to live healthier. I'm going to take care of my body. I want to honor myself and value myself. And part of that is making sure that my body is physically healthy.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still kind of just stuck with, like, some people really hate exercise. They just don't enjoy it. And I know for me, like, I don't like the hardcore, like CrossFit or anything that seems really just like forced. So how do you get people to really enjoy the movement aspect? Because respecting ourselves is honoring movement, right? Like, being a couch potato isn't healthy. So
So
movement has to be involved.
movement is definitely important, but when you're talking to somebody that's really unhealthy or in a bad place, it doesn't have to all happen at once. So you can have a full transformation with your body and your life from the nutrition aspect and from changing your state. You could do those two things and have a big transformation. So yes, movement is important, but the level of it and how much that can be very subjective. So it's really meeting somebody where they're at. If you really hate exercising, I would encourage people just to walk, just something, just to move your body. It doesn't have to be a formal, I'm going to go work out. It could be, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to have a stand-up desk instead of sitting. It's taking those baby steps forward. And as long as you're taking a few steps forward in the right direction every day, then you're still moving forward.
That's awesome.
It doesn't have to be about beating yourself up at the gym.
That's awesome. That's a really good point of even like you said, a stand-up desk is already a change in the norm.
Yes.
That's awesome. Have you found that, because I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume that you value, respect your body, that's kind of what got you into this, leading this movement, is really how important physical fitness is to you.
Yes.
Was that ever different for you? Did you have times where it wasn't?
Absolutely. I've had that. In fact, right now I'm in a state of that. Nothing stays the same forever, right? So I'm 46 and I've had many times in my life where I didn't get to effortlessly be fit and work out, and I didn't enjoy it. And I'll say now is one of those times. I actually had a ruptured disc about 6 months ago. Pretty traumatic surgery, and I had to take a lot of time down, and I'm still recovering from it. So my workouts are not at the level they used to be, so they're not enjoyable for me because I can't go do the stuff I used to do. So it just takes coming from a place of just starting from where you are at now and not comparing. So to me, it's back to what I just shared with you. I would offer somebody else. You don't have to beat yourself up. It's just, what can you do that brings yourself forward every day? For me at this point, it's doing a much milder workout. It's doing certain stretches and strengthening movements at home. It's making sure I walk every day. It's just little baby steps. It doesn't have to always be the way that it was or extreme, but that's normal. There's nobody that can stay at a consistent level of fitness forever. Things happen. You have an accident, you fall, things change in your health. Things will always happen. It's having that mindset overall that you're going to prevail and you're going to find a workaround.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good point. What do you think is a big obstacle for people aside from like the negative self-talk or comparison? What else do you see that's really like detrimental for a health?
Well, comparison's a big one. And I encourage people to you can find supporting evidence for whatever you want. So if you believe, hey, I'm too old, I can't be fit anymore, for instance, you're going to keep finding evidence of other people that are too fit. Or if you believe that only people a certain body type can be fit, you will find evidence that supports that. So what I urge people to do is to find evidence that supports what it is that they're after. So, for instance, if you have an audience, I know that is recovering from eating disorders, instead of finding people that have never dealt with that, find somebody that has dealt with that and see what they've overcome. But it's finding people in that pool of things that you don't think is possible to start validating what is possible.
Yeah.
It's that, because comparison otherwise can get very dangerous because you're comparing to things that are not possible for you.
Yeah. That's a really great point, that this is such a unique journey for everyone, and how we relate to our bodies, how we feel in our bodies, how we transform our bodies. I mean, family history comes into play, things that happen to you, things that you were called, like so many different things that it's impossible to kind of just blanket statement that's going to apply to everyone.
For sure. And here's the thing that I would tell, I'll tell your listeners, your viewers, that everybody in the world has excuses for things, and it's not that they're not valid. Okay. You can have excuses and reasons, but by me validating your excuses, it's never going to help you accomplish your goal. So it doesn't matter what our excuses are. It really doesn't matter what our excuses or our hurdles are, because by validating them or getting others to support and validating them, we don't move forward. So it's a disservice to get your excuses validated. Mm-hmm. Instead, it's critical to look for solutions.
Yeah.
Because validating them does nothing for you.
Yeah. I remember, I think one of the first times we met, you were just so passionate about, like, look for solutions, not excuses. Always be solution focused. And it's so true. You find what you look for.
Yes, and it's not that an excuse is not valid, like I said, but by validating it, it just makes you stop. Like then
Yeah.
what? So
Yeah.
I had my back surgery. I could for the rest of my life say, well, I can't work out and I'm going to gain weight and be out of shape because I had back surgery. That nobody's going to argue with me. Though, great, but how does that help me or serve me?
Yeah. So do you find that the people that you surround yourself with is also really important so that people don't buy into excuses or they call you out on it?
Very much so. And if you have, and it takes doing a deep dive into your own community and what you're letting into your life and what you're surrounding yourself with. And if you're surrounding yourself with all types of people in reinforcing negative behaviors or holding you back from your goals, it's important to look at that because that all plays into your vision and your goals. And it's what you're surrounding yourself with. And that energy is definitely contagious.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is like your top 3 tips for people that are listening that are just really foundational things that help have a healthy relationship to fitness, a healthy relationship to food, something that is accessible to everyone?
Yes. So I say, what I talk about is change your state, plan your plate, and then ultimately love your weight. So I'll give you sort of one for each.
Yeah.
One for change your state. The first thing is to figure out that driving core motivator. It's so key. Go ask yourself 10 levels deep why. So you want to change something in your body or your health, keep going to the why. Like why? And get to what that is. Is it you want to be more confident? You want to be, what is that reason? And you'll know you've hit it because when you hit it, it's so motivating and it so resonates with you that nothing gets in your way from accomplishing it. So
Yeah.
you work to figure that out. That's the first thing. So, and there's so many more we could do a state, but that would be the number one. With the planning your plate, I would say get away from calorie counting because it doesn't work. And just to give you an example, it's very subjective. If I say how many calories are in an apple, I mean, how big is the apple? How ripe is it? And we tend to grossly underestimate how many calories we're eating and we overestimate how many we're burning. Always, every human does it. So it's push you into this dangerous cycle when you start calorie counting. I'm not a fan of calorie counting at all. Instead, I like to get in the habit of looking at food as fuel for health and for energy and for vibrance. So by doing that, if you look at I'm going to eat unprocessed food primarily. I'm not saying never have an M&M. I'm just saying your primary diet should be unprocessed, real natural food that it nourishes your body. So think things that once grew, things that had life. So plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, proteins, if you do proteins. So eat foods that once grew that are good for you and make it more of a competition of how much more of the good can I get into my body in the day. And that's going to inevitably make less room for the bad. But it gets away from this calorie counting and this bad relationship of I hate food and what it does to me and I can't have this and it's deprivation and this really bad downward spiral to using it more of a I'm going to gamify this and see how many good things I can get into my body in the day.
Yeah.
So that's my advice on that, planning the plate. And then for loving your weight is I would suggest that instead of saying all these workouts you have to do is what do you love about your body? Like really look. And if you say nothing, then I'm going to say, go to like, I can breathe or I can swallow or I can find something you love about your body every single day and work towards making that better. Because that's, most of us watching have legs that work and there's a lot of people that don't. So you can walk, like go from a place of love. So when you come at it with, I'm going to have a driving core motivator. I'm going to look at food as nourishment and energy and make it a game, like how much of the good can I get in for the day? And then I'm going to come at my body as what am I having gratitude for? What do I love about it? And how can I, build that up each day? Then you've got this winning formula that I call a transformation triangle. And we can keep building on that, but that would be the 3 things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I like the fact that it's always building. That's what life is, right? You're never ever, you don't reach the pinnacle of success, happiness, fitness. Like it's always growing, becoming less, becoming more. So I think becoming flexible with yourself also of just, like today might not be my best planning my plate day and that's okay. Like I can tomorrow focus on it differently or relate to it differently. It's not about like I've made a mistake.
Yes.
There's more flexibility, which I think for long-term health, flexibility is very important.
Well, it's just not focusing on the all the stuff you can't have and what you did wrong. And instead, how many vegetables did you eat today? How many fruits did you have? How much lean protein did you have? How many things that were good for you did you add in? Like, let's focus on that. That just makes less room for the other things.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
I can't believe I ate a whole bag of chips. Like, that's the wrong focus.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah. And I know that you had something that you wanted to offer to the audience too. So I wanted to just let you share.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is just if any of this resonates with you and you want sort of like a free 3 days of changing your plate, or changing your state, planning your plate, and loving your weight, then I do have my 3-day quick body reset, and it's totally free. So it's just
Awesome.
the quickbodyreset.com, and
Awesome.
you can download it and you just get a little taste of those 3 categories.
Awesome. That's so nice of you. And I love that, something that you're really well known for is that you make things fun. So even like you said, making it a game and having fun is so important, like we are so serious about I have to achieve this goal, I have to look a certain way, I have to be a
Right.
certain size. It's like have fun. Life is meant to be fun and enjoyable.
Yes, true. I also do understand that when you're feeling so bad about yourself, you tend to not have fun because you lack that confidence. So that's where that whole changing your state, creating that vision, all that stuff is so important to do first, because otherwise you do set yourself up for that disappointment, and it
Yeah.
doesn't feel fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then just kind of real quick, just to wrap it up, how do you think that having a healthy relationship to yourself improves your life in particular? How do you feel like that amplifies your experience?
God, I mean, it really boils down to confidence. So if you think about a day that you felt confident about something, your energy starts to be contagious in the right direction. When you're confident, you're supportive to others, you're happier, you're smiling. So it really comes down to when you are coming from a different place with your body of some type of self-love and moving things in the right direction, you have more confidence, and that's just contagious all the way around.
I love that. Yeah, that's so true. Definitely true. If you want to give a little shout out to your social media, your website, I would love
Oh,
for you to.
thank you. Yeah, you can find me at nataliejillfitness.com, and anywhere on social media is Natalie Jill Fit.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I love everything that you stand for, and you're so positive and inspirational, and so like conviction is the word for you. You are so like
Thank you.
hardcore about just like everything you do. You're passionate and committed. So thank you
Oh,
so much for spending time with us. And I don't know if I mentioned, I'm Ilan Navarro. I don't even remember if I mentioned that at the beginning, but I'm sure if you're watching, you already knew that. And thank you so much for joining Sacred Self Worth.
bye. Thanks.
Bye.